He had the talent, the trophies, and the smoothest cue action in the game. Fans cheered when he played, but everything changed once he stepped away from the table. What really happened to snooker's smooth star Stephen Lee? The truth is more shocking than anyone expected. Stephen Lee had the kind of snooker style that pulled people in. His cue action was smooth, his movement around the table calm and confident, and every shot looked like it came with ease. From the moment he turned professional in 1992, it was clear he had something special that set him apart. By the late 1990s, Lee was rising fast through the ranks. His talent translated into real results, winning the British Open in 1996, the Grand Prix twice in 1998 and 2001, the Scottish Open and the Welsh Open. Even in the later years of his career, he proved he still had it by winning the 2012 Players Tour Championship Grand Finals.
У нас будет пауза, потом интервью, награждение. Спасибо обоим за финал. Ну, ожидать счет 4-0 никак.
He didn't need showmanship to stand out. His game spoke for itself. At the peak of his career, he reached a world ranking of number 5, holding that position during both the 2001 and 2003-4 seasons. He made it to the semi-finals of the 2003 World Championship and reached the final of the 2008 Masters. Big stages where pressure runs high, and he held his own. Along the way, he stacked up 184 century breaks, showing just how dangerous he could be when he got going.
He goes through to the final for the third time. He wins by 17 frames to 8.
Lee's playing style was easy to admire. He stayed composed, took his time, and played with a level of grace that fans found addictive to watch. During his best years, he was helping keep the sport alive and entertaining.
Правда, придется постараться.
But away from the table, something very different was happening. Behind the calm expression and clean technique, a storm was quietly building. The man who looked like the picture of professionalism was heading toward a fall no one saw coming. His game made headlines, but what followed would turn those headlines into something far darker. An investigation by the WPBSA found Lee guilty of fixing 7 matches between 2008 and 2009. These weren't small games. They included top events like the Malta Cup, UK Championship, China Open, and even the World Championship. This was more than bad form. It was blatant match manipulation on a big stage. He didn't act alone. His manager, sponsor, and a close friend were all involved. Together, they placed bets on matches Lee had already agreed to throw. The total profit from those bets was around £100,000. The tribunal called it the worst case of corruption in snooker history. The punishment came fast. Lee got banned for 12 years, from 2012 to 2024. On top of that, he had to pay a £40,000 fine and cover £125,000 in legal costs.
Last month or so.
Yes.
Thank for all the support, and I'm looking.
His attempts to appeal went nowhere. The damage was done. One of the sport's smoothest players became one of its darkest stories.
I'm doing an exclusive in the paper, waiting to confirm that this afternoon, and I've just dropped my books down to a lawyer QC.
The reasons behind it were messy. Lee was under financial stress. He was struggling to stay afloat. The tribunal said he wasn't a cruel cheater, just a weak man who gave in to pressure. But people still lost respect for him.
got arrested in 2010 will paint the true picture and the true light and what's happened. Total outrageous. How this has happened to me, I just don't believe it.
And things kept getting worse. In 2014, he pleaded guilty to fraud after selling a snooker cue online for £1,600 and never sending it. He got fined and ordered to repay the money. Then, in 2017, he ran into more legal trouble in Hong Kong after giving snooker lessons without a permit.
Are you planning to go back to the UK?
I'm going back to the UK, yeah. Yeah. Okay. Thanks for the support. Thank you.
Each headline dragged him down further. The skills that once filled arenas were now buried under court cases and broken trust. Stephen Lee had it all, until everything collapsed. The game he once ruled turned cold, and instead of chasing titles, he was left fighting to clear his name. This scandal not only ended a career, but flipped a fan favorite into a fallen figure. And for many, it was the moment snooker lost a little bit of its shine. Stephen Lee's ban officially ended on October 12, 2024. After 12 long years out of the game, some people hoped for a surprise return. But that's not happening. Not now, maybe not ever. There's a big reason for that. Lee still owes £125,000 in legal costs to the WPBSA. Until he pays up, he can't play in any official events, no Q School, no Q Tour, no WSF Championship. So even though the ban is over, the path back stays blocked. And then there's the man himself. Back in 2022, Lee seemed unsure. He kept things quiet, gave mixed signals, but more recently, a fan asked him on Facebook if he'd return. His reply, "Not a chance." That shut the door completely. At 50, the odds are stacked against him anyway. His eyes aren't what they used to be. That natural cue action, the one that once made him one of the smoothest players in snooker, is probably gone. And after a decade away, his motivation has taken a hit. There's no real fire left to chase trophies. Instead, Lee has shifted his focus. He now spends time supporting his son Alfie, who's starting out in amateur snooker. It's a different role, but one he seems to enjoy. The spotlight he once stood in is now shining on someone else. For fans, Lee's name still sparks mixed feelings. Some remember the style, the smooth play, the calm under pressure. Others remember the scandal, the ban, and how fast it all fell apart. A comeback would have added one more twist to a wild story. But Lee looks done with the game. Right now, he's not chasing a second chance. He's just living quietly, far from the drama that once followed him. For someone who once stood at the heart of snooker, that quiet might be the biggest change of all. Stephen Lee's name still splits opinions. Some fans remember the skill, the calm focus, and the way he made tough shots look simple. Others only see the scandal that knocked him out of the sport. Years later, people still can't agree on how to judge him. Supporters say the 12-year ban was enough. They believe he paid the price and should be allowed to move on. His talent, they argue, should still have a place in snooker, maybe not at the top level, but in exhibitions or senior events. One Reddit user wrote, "I love a redemption story, so hope he comes back." For them, the past doesn't erase everything he did on the table. But the other side doesn't forgive so easily. Critics see what happened as a deep cut to the sport's image. Match fixing for them crosses a line. One fan commented, "I will never support a player who tries to destroy the reputation of snooker." Some think the 12-year ban wasn't enough and that a lifetime ban would have sent a stronger message. For them, trust matters more than trophies. The real damage goes beyond the ban. Lee's achievements, 5 ranking titles, 184 century breaks, and a spot in the top 5 are now buried under headlines about betting rings and court cases. The way people talk about him has changed. The praise is quieter, the doubt is louder. Even now, some pros back him. John Higgins once said he'd be okay with a comeback if certain rules were followed. Ronnie O'Sullivan pointed out bigger problems in the sport when the scandal broke. So while fans argue, some players still show a bit of support. Today, Lee isn't chasing a return. He's focused on his son Alfie, who's playing amateur snooker. It's a quieter life, away from TV cameras and packed arenas, but the debates still follow him. His story doesn't have a clean ending. Some want to see him get one last chance. Others want the door shut for good. What everyone agrees on, Stephen Lee changed how people look at snooker. Whether that change was for better or worse depends on who you ask, but no one can say he left the game quietly. Stephen Lee rose fast, fell hard, and left behind one of snooker's most complicated legacies. From smooth cue action to shocking scandal, his story had it all. If you found this breakdown gripping, hit like, drop a comment, and subscribe for more deep dives into the sport's most unforgettable figures.